Hello everyone, my name is Konrad Tomaszkiewicz. I am game director of The Witcher 3: The White Hunt, and I got pleasure to be here with you today and tell you a few words about our game, especially about storytelling as a tool for making open world games. I will tell you some words how we approach to creating Witcher 3 and what we made different to make open world better. First of all, I want to say a few words about how you can approach to make a game by the book. Of course, probably everyone who work in the game development industry got their own way how to approach and how to start to make a game. But the most often people starting to work gameplay-driven production way. They focus on the gameplay loop, and when the gameplay loop is very polished, they adding to it the storyline. And this is very good way of making games, but actually we doing it a little different because this is our experience from the Witcher first, when we didn't know at all how to do the games, and we learn from the scratch actually how to approach the process of making games. And we starting work on the game quite opposite. We first work on the storyline. We create the whole story, and the story for us is a base which actually giving us need for do the gameplay, and the gameplay always support the story. The story is most important for us, and gameplay mechanics are adjust to make the storytelling better and better. Okay, how to fill an open world? We got a few layers of activities or content which we put into the open world to fill it well. And those are main quests, the most important storytelling tool, side quest and Witcher contracts, minor quests, points of interest, and I didn't put on the board one more point. It's the living world, the communities and living cities, and monsters encounters in the forest and whole ecosystem. When I start to work on the Witcher 3, when the head of the office told me that I will lead the whole game, I start to think what kind of game I want to do, what kind of game I want to play, what kind of the RPG, and I figured out that the best freedom, the best immersion got pen and paper RPGs, and of course it's not possible to do the video game. It's not possible yet to do the video game which will get so deep immersion and so deep freedom, because when you're playing pen and paper RPGs, game master who leading the session in the real time adjusts and adapts to your choices, and changing the storyline and leading you to the end different ways. You cannot do exactly the same game, but you can inspire pen and paper RPGs and change your game and put the features which will boost the immersion and boost the freedom of the game. We got the huge experience after Witcher 2 and Witcher first, how to do the very deep storyline, how to do the non-linearity in our games, but we miss a little freedom. The Witcher 2 and Witcher first was quite close, and the natural move was to add the open world to the Witcher 3 to boost the freedom of the whole game, and you know, to achieve the immersion which pen and paper RPGs got. You need to do a few things. It's like you need to create the very believable world, and there will be characters. Those characters cannot be flat, cannot be like only quest givers. They need to be real. They need to get their own lives in this world. They need to telling their own stories. And this adaptation, which Game Master doing on this session of the pen paper RPG games, are replaced in video games by non-linearities and freedom of choice of quests you want to do. When I thought about what kind of game I want to do, I figured out that the best would be connection or combination of single-player RPG, story-driven single-player RPG with an open-world game. And I thought that it would be the best to create a little new type of the game. I mean, the story-driven open-world RPG game, which wasn't, I think, fully created yet on this scale. Okay. I think that the worst enemy of every game is recurrence and predictability of gameplay mechanics and the storyline. When I play a game and I see that that in every quest or in every event I got the same gameplay loops or the same events, I'm very fast get bored. And usually I stop playing this kind of game. And our goal was to create something which will be unique, and all the time when you play, you will be surprised by the storyline, and always you will get something new. That's why every quest needs to be unique in our game, and we cannot afford to copy-paste solutions from different quests. The same is with the mood of the region in the game. If you got a short game around 20 hours, you can afford to do the one mood and put the whole structure of the game in this one region. It will be okay, but when we got scale of the game around 150 hours, we cannot afford to do only one mood, and we decided to split the game world for 3 parts, 3 hubs, and every of these hubs got different moods. But it wouldn't got any sense if we would approach to it like it was in the Witcher 2, when we drive player from act to act, and got quite linear story structure in this act. We need to change our approach to build this story, and it took us around over 1 year to create the story we got in the game. We split the storyline for 3 parts, and those parts are in different hubs. And from early beginning, you can choose which storyline you want to do, and you want to all the time jump from this storyline to this storyline. This is also the freedom of the choice, which boosts the immersion with the game, because nobody tell you right now you need to do this, and that's all. You can decide. You can do everything you want to do, and we don't want to limit you in this choice. Also, in the main story quest, we need to do the change when we looking on the Witcher 2, because in the Witcher 2 we got very closed locations, and we got choke points where we can trigger these scenes or events in the game. And when we create the open world, which is huge, we couldn't do so many choke points, and we needed to change approach to creating the main quest. We need to more open the quests, and what is important that it also gave us more freedom, because sometimes you approach for, let's say, crime scene or some event from the quest, which you should see later. But in this approach, you can take a part in this event, and storyline will adapt to your choice, because right now you're exploring the world, and by mistake you are in this place. And the freedom and the immersion was the most important point for us when we're creating The Witcher 3. Okay, and side quests and Witcher contracts. We tried to do as many as we could do, but you need to know that the main quests and side quests are the most expensive content you can put into the game, because they are really custom. They got custom cutscenes, custom characters, custom monsters, and to do this in the time brackets we got to release the game, it was very hard, and obviously we couldn't make it so many to fill the whole world with this. And also there was the condition I put for my designers that all of these quests need to be memorable and needs to be unique. All of these quests should give you the unique emotions and leave in your mind the conclusion and some reflection after you finish it. And what is also important that for side quests and Witcher contracts, we tried always to get 2 ways to start this quest, because, as I said before, it's similar to the main quest. When you exploring the world and seeing that, let's say, dead body, and want to check what happened, you should be able to do it. The worst thing we could do is stick to the very to the same structure of the quest all the time, and force you to go to the quest giver, take a quest, and then check the crime scene. In this case, we tried to boost also the feeling from the open world by giving you the opportunity to start those quests from every point you can approach it. And of course, those quests are also non-linear, and sometimes they affect the main storyline and they change the main storyline. Sometimes when you decide to not doing some side quests, it's also a choice, and it's also changing the main quest and the consequences on the end of the game. It was really hard to connect all of these choices, but in the end, it gives you the illusion that the world adapts to your doings, which is very important. The next point, the next layer of the open world is minor quests. Minor quests are really small and as simple as possible encounters which you can approach, and it's giving you really small chunks of the story, but also creating this world feeling and upgrades the lore of The Witcher. And the last part are the points of interest, and this is the most interesting, I think, point, because the layers before, we realized around 1 year before release that those layers before cover only around 40% of the area we got in the game about of this open world we got. And we need to decide what to do with the rest, and we decide to do the points of interest, and those points are quite unique points in the world, in which we got always something interesting. Many games approach the points of interest or encounters, or how you want to call it, systemic way, and when you do it in systemic way, it's good because you need to somehow feel this world, but you feel that this recurrence is is very visible. You see the templates. And we was forced also to create the templates of those points of interest, and we create around 20 of them. And when I start to play the game, I saw that I see the similar templates very often. And I spoke with our designers, and we decided that we will try to add always something unique to those templates. We will not change the template at all. It works this way, how it works, but our story designers add there some letters with some small story, some books, some dead body, some environmental story, some unique stuff, and I call it the human touch, and it's totally changed how you feel these points of interest. It shows us that those small stories cover this template feeling of the open world, and it gives you always something interesting when you approach these places. It allows us to fill the world with interesting stuff. It gives players the need and the motivation to explore the world, because always they will find something unique in the world, and there are no the same stuff all the time. And of course, we based on the challenge and reward in the points of interest. We always give you some reward when you get to those points. And the conclusion is that if you telling the small or bigger stories in the open world and don't just copy paste the solutions, it gives you something unique and something which is somehow similar to the pen and paper RPGs, and to give you the cool feeling when you play. Okay, and this is all from my side. Right now I think there will be a question and answers part, and I hope that those presentations somehow will be inspiring for you, and maybe you will do something like this in your games.
Test. Hello?
Hello?
This side? To your right?
Where you are? Oh, we are here. Cool.
Yeah. Hello. I just want to ask, how much content in The Witcher 3 can people actually never see? So somebody plays the game normally and they just miss it and never realize it's there. And did you have any reservations during development?
We never counted it, but there is a lot of this content, because when I done the last playthrough of the game, last Polish, playthrough of the game, and it took me around 3.5 weeks. Sometimes when I played some quests, there was 2 main paths to finish the quest, and in every path there was 2 other paths to finish those paths. That means that you need to play around 6 times to see every path of the quest or every consequence you can see in the game. It's huge. It's so big and complex. It's like spider web of the choices and consequences.
And is this
only
only story related, or do you have certain areas that the player will never see based on choices? Does that happen?
It depends on your choices, of course, but yeah, you can skip some side quests, and you can skip some huge areas like one of the area, the island, the Ice Giant Island, where the side quests take place. It's the size of the whole flotsam from the Witcher 2, you know, and you can skip it and don't see it at all.
Okay, thank you.
So here, first of all, hi, and my question is, you earlier said that predictability is one of the worst enemies of any game, because when
could you repeat, because I don't hear you well.
Sorry, that predictability is one of the worst enemies of any kind of game, because the player gets bored and that's a symbol of a bad experience.
Yeah.
But how do you go about introducing new and unique ways of playing without making your players confused? Because if you introduce new systems, the player may not be prepared to them or may not understand them directly.
Yeah, it's wider subject. I mean, when I thought about predictability, it's not about the whole gameplay loop, because of course you need to teach player how to approach your gameplay loop and how to fight, let's say, how to solve how to use the Witcher senses and solve the puzzles and so on. But our idea was to do a lot of small custom features which we put into the quest, and this way we change your feeling, and you cannot predict what you will approach in the next quest. Those features are small and quite easy, but they give you diversity of the game, and because of it you are not get bored very fast, and you got always something new.
Hi. Well, you accomplished something really unique with Witcher 3, which is a story-driven open world, which is something. The only similar thing I played is perhaps the Shenmue series, but at the end everything is scripted in a sense. You have choices, but the script is there. Other games like Shadow of Mordor, for instance, or at Skyrim sometimes, go for an organic gameplay in which the player creates their own stories. So my question is, you already achieved something that I believe was impossible, to do this story-driven open world. You plan in future games to include these organic elements, apart from telling your story, to include the possibility that the player creates their own story and their character, for instance?
You know, it's like this, that we knew that this organic gameplay is our weak side. We are specialized in doing stories and doing emotion in these stories and give you some conclusions after these stories. And yes, we want to work in the next projects about more organic gameplay loop. But still, I want to go this way, that this gameplay loop will be adjusted to the story, not the opposite side, because we achieve something unique, I think, and it's very easy to lose it, you know, when we change the approach for making our games.
Good morning. Here?
Where you are?
Here.
Oh, I see you.
I'm Eva from Proyecto Freak, and I want to ask you about the mobile devices, because the open world is a very important part in a game nowadays. And in your opinion, you think that this could be implemented in these devices, or perhaps is an impossible thing to do?
Could you repeat it
Yes.
a little louder, because it's really hard to understand.
Okay, I try. Due to the increase in mobile phone game development, I wonder if you could tell me your point of view in relation to the interactive narration on mobile devices.
Oh, it's a hard question, because, you know, I'm specialized in other platforms, but I think that, you know, iPhone or cell phones devices got huge perspective in telling stories, and I think it would be very easy, for example, to move the Telltale games to the iPhones, and in my opinion, those games are telling story different way, but also very good, and I like it very, very much. And also you can tell the stories, like in the old adventure games, which is also cool. And there are probably a lot more possibilities, for the iPhones. But I don't know what answer you expect exactly.
It's only an opinion about it.
My opinion is that it's perfect platform to do the storytelling games, and I hope that people will start doing storytelling games on iPhones, and I can promise that I will buy them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, here.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for coming here to Gamelab Barcelona. I have a question about future games. In The Witcher,
yeah.
the main character, it has a strong personality, and is in a way the story driver of it. But maybe in future games, maybe more cyberpunk games or something like that, will you rely more weight for the side quests, for the other characters, and give a little bit more of freedom in the way you develop your own character?
Well, I shouldn't answer this question because it's forbidden for me to speak about the cyberpunk.
I mean, maybe not cyberpunk, just a future game.
Yeah, it's like this that when we created Witcher games, we based on the Sapkowski novels, and Geralt from Rivia was very well described, and it was easy to keep this character in the games. In our future games, if we're not based on any novels, we need to create the new character of the main player, and I think that that we should add the possibility to create your own character, but it's always harder to create so strong and unique personality when you create your character from the scratch, and I think that it will be next challenge for us to learn how to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Hi. It doesn't work?
It doesn't work. Hi. Hi, Mr. Here. I have well, first of all...
Oh, you are there. Yeah.
Congratulations for your game, because it's fucking awesome.
Thanks
and
so much.
I have a very quick question. Here it is. Tris or Yennefer?
For me, always Yennefer.
Okay.
Stronger character.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I just have one question. One problem I feel that usually in open world games that try to create a good storyline is that the narrative urgency and the focus on the story is lost when you are doing side quests and you end up losing interest in the plot. Do you have you thought about that during The Witcher, and do you find a way to solve this problem?
Yeah. We were aware that this is a huge problem. That when you start to explore the side quest and the points of interest and dungeons and start to swimming and sailing and so on, you will forget about the main story and what the game is about totally. And from beginning of production, I decided to create the video loading screens, which telling you all the time when you're loading the game where you are in this particular region with your storyline and where you should go next, to remind you all the time about the story, and I think it works quite well. It was complicated because we made those movies on the outsource. very talented guys doing it for us, but there was many of these movies because the game is non-linear, there is a lot of, the plot is quite complex. To explain everything, it was around 50 of these movies to draw, and guys draw it around 2.5 years. And you know, the storylines was little change in the half of the project. We all the time iterate the quest and change the game, and they need to also adjust with these videos. But in the end, I think it works quite well, and it helps people to not lost in this huge world.
As you know, in PC gaming community, modding is, there is a lot of modders.
I know.
When you design a game as big as The Witcher 3, is it really hard to adapt it to be easy to mod, or you don't even consider and let the gamers how they want?
We're thinking about deliver the modding tools for modders, and the modders community is very important for us. But we need some time to do it, because when you develop the game, and people who work in the AAA companies know this, 80% or even 90% of the time, and in this time when we done The Witcher 3, there was, you know, generation change. The engine worked quite bad. I mean, you know, it crashes all the time. You need to get some shortcuts or some workarounds on some problems, and so on and so on. And to release the mod tools, we need to first fix everything. And our main goal was to release the game on time and you know, debug it as much as we can. And we didn't focus on the editor of the game. And we need to right now fix the editor. And when it will be ready, we'll try to release it for modders, because, as I said, the modders are very important for us.
Hi, I'm sort of hidden behind a podium. I was wondering, one of the things that I figure must be a huge problem with generating stories for open worlds is it's just such a gigantic amount of content. And you know that the player isn't going to see most of it, but somehow it still all needs to connect to each other. It still needs to kind of create a cohesive story, which must be terrifying. How do you go about generating the content and making sure that you use, you know, the kind of the best of it? Because I assume that you probably created at least twice as much content as you actually end up putting in a game, just in terms of missions and all these characters. Like, is there a kind of a process that you go through to actually create all this stuff?
Well, it's very complicated, actually, because as I said before, we worked on the storyline and side quests and the minor quests around 1.5 years, only on the designs. But after we finishing the design of the quest, the production, taking care about creating the production list of the characters, locations, and other stuff. And it's insane amount of content to do, and our studio is not so huge as, you know, different studios which making open world games. And we need to find workarounds to create this content, actually. And for example, from the environment artist perspective, it was almost impossible to create so huge world and create there so many unique points, unique cities, houses, and so on. And our lead, the Lucian Więcek, work with programmers very long, and they create tools which help them a lot to create this kind of world. For example, they can import the world shape from Word Machine, which create very fast the mountains and very cool shapes of the terrain. He created a tool which allow him with simple brushes to paint the forests in the game, or paint the paths in the game, which got many patterns of you know, of stones, foliage, and other stuff. And it's make the work easier, and there are a lot of workarounds like this to do, this huge game possible. But I could speak, another presentation about it. It's very, very hard subject. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello here. First of all, thanks for the conference. It's really amazing. And my question goes about RPGs. As you said, the main quest, it's based on RPG, but we all know that all the game masters can give the player much more freedom than you can give to the player in the big game. So how do you know when you have given the player enough freedom in the game to say, okay, let's stop here and not add more guests or more options? Where's the limit to the options?
Well, it's also a hard question because in this industry it's like this, that you can play the whole game. If the production is around 3.5 years, probably after 2.5 years you can play the game and you see where you got too much content and when you got too less content. But what I done in this project is playing all the time quest by quest in editor, because we very long time didn't got cool game, because we need to remake a lot of basic mechanics in the game, like for example, we need to rewrite the whole streaming to allow us to create so huge world. And the programmers wrote this streaming, and I could only play in editor and play small chunks of the world. And I all the time played and iterate the quests, and it's just intuition. After 11 years making Witcher games, you just feel where you got enough non-linearities and where you need to add something because it's too less. It's just intuition and trust in your player sense somewhere inside you, because I think that if you want to do the games, you need to be a player. You need to play a lot, everything what is out there. And I'm playing, since I was, small child, and I just believe that if I feel that something is good, and I'm always trying to cut off my game developer brain, just try to approach the game as it is and analyze my feelings, if it's okay or not okay, and I base on this only. There is no, there is no golden solution which tell you that you need to get 3 or 4 or 6 stuff in the quest. It's everything about intuition.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
I just want to ask you, it was difficult to adapt the book into a game, because there's a lot of movies for books or comics that are really bad, yeah. But when you play The Witcher 2 or 3, I haven't played the first one, but when you play 2 or 3, it's like being in the book, and it's so real, all the characters, all the world, and I just want to ask you that.
Yeah, it was really hard, and we were very lucky that we found the writers who was fans of the Andrzej Sapkowski books, and they are also very skillful, and they can write very similar like Andrzej Sapkowski, and all of us are fans of his books, and we all the time when we even read the first dialogues or play the first time the quest, we pay attention if the characters are consistent with the characters from the books, if everything is consistent, because for us the novels are our base, and we believe that we doing some continuation of the novels for players. Of course, Andrzej Sapkowski doing his own books, but for us it's a continuation, and we want to be consistent with the books. We want that fans who play our games feel exactly the same mood, exactly the same characters than it was in the books. And it was a huge challenge. It was a huge challenge, but thanks to our writers, we could achieve that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I would like to ask you, how big is CD Projekt Red company? Because you just released this masterpiece, and you are releasing free DLCs, because that's something we love, and thanks for that.
Yeah.
And you're working too on a new IP, so I can do more than two things at the same time. So how do you organize these projects?
Well, the organization is very messy right now, because it's like you know, when you are near to the finish of some project like The Witcher, everyone are focused on this goal, and it's quite easy to motivate everyone and you know, put them to the one direction. Right now it's a little worse, but about the size of the company, about size of the CD Projekt, it was like this, that when I started working at CD Projekt 11 years ago, it was 30 people. When I started leading The Witcher 3, it was around 70 people, and on the end of The Witcher 3, it was around 250 people. And right now it's around 217 people, and we are split it through the 2 projects and expansions and DLCs. It's, you know, it's thanks to our production, we know what we should do, and we know our deadlines and different stuff. It's very hard, but we got really good producers, and they somehow, you know, organize it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then if it's all, then thank you very much for your attention, and it was a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.